Hello everyone, welcome back to this Java learning series. So in this today's video, we'll be covering one of the most important topic that is Java exception handling. So in this video, we'll be covering what is exception and Java exception hierarchy, what type of exception, checked or unchecked, and try-catch block, multiple catch blocks, finally blocks, throw and throws, custom exception, and what is the best practice to handle the and also, we'll see like real-time example and common interview asked the question. So make sure you watch till the end. So let's get started. First, what is exception? So basically, exception is an like event that disturb our normal flow of program. That is called exception. Using try-catch block, we can handle the exception. So if you see here, we have a variable a, int a, that and 10 divided by 0. Like it is divided by 0. So any number divided by 0, it always through arithmetic exception. So this statement throwing an exception. So using like arithmetic exception, we'll handle the exception using try catch. So if you see the hierarchy of exception, so like we have a topmost class, throwable, that has exception and error. So in this video, we will cover exception. So exception are two types, checked in and unchecked exceptions. So if we'll see checked in and checked exception are checked at compile time and unchecked exception checked at runtime. So in checked exception, like IO exception, SQL exception, file not found exception, these are the class not found exception, that is checked exception. In unchecked exception are null pointer exception, arithmetic, array index out of bound exception, number format exception. These are the unchecked exception that are checked at runtime. And using try catch block, we handle our exception. So in the try block, we write the logic where the exception can occur. And in the case block, we'll write or like we'll handle our exception. So here we are having int variable a and that a number divided by 0. So it will throw an arithmetic exception. Like in this statement, there's an exception. So this catch block will execute and it will throw arithmetic exception. So the output will be cannot divide by 0. This will our output. So if you see like multiple catch block. So with one try, you can create like multiple catch block, but for single cage block, you need at least one try. You cannot like directly write cage block, but you can write try alone also, not an issue without cage. So here, what you are doing, you are creating a string that assigning null value, okay, and creating length of our string. So basically, you are making operation of null value. So it will throw in null pointer exception. So this second case block will execute. So in this case, like in try block, again we are writing our statement where the exception can occur. So in this statement, we are throwing an exception because making operation on length, like variable that are having null value, and this case block will execute. Like the output will be null error. And we are having one more finally block. So what finally is do? Finally block basically execute always, whether we are handling the exception or not. Okay. So in this case, we are creating an array with index of 3, 0 to 2, and we are assigning value of index of fifth. So like in index fifth, it out of bound. We does not have array size. that is out of bound. So it throw array index out of bound error. So our catch block will execute. And finally block always execute whether we are handling the exception or not. So in this case, exception will occur in this statement, and this catch block will execute. The output will be like index issue, and we are having finally block. So this finally will always execute whether we are handling or not. So the output will be index issue, and this always run. Okay. If does it statement does not throw exception, like we'll comment this. Okay. So only try block will execute because it is not throwing exception. Catch block will not execute. Then finally will execute alone because here we are not writing any print statement. Okay. Now we are having throw and throws keyword. So basically, throw keyword that used to throw any exception within the block code method of code. So we write use throw to throw actual throw the exception, and throws used to declare the exception. Like basically we use throws with the method signature. Like here we are having one method wait file and throws exception. So like we are declaring exception that might throw exception. Like this method can throw an exception. So handle the exception. So like this we are declaring and handling and pointing. So what is the difference in throw and throws is, so like throw basically used to actually throw an exception, and throws to declare possible exception, and method body throw, and throws method signature with method signature. And also like throw will be throw only single exception object, and throws can be throws multiple exception. Like here multiple exception is, like here we have like written I exception. So here you can write file not found exception also, comma separated. So any number of you can write this. And if you see custom exception, how you can write your own custom exception. So we have exception class and runnable interface. So by extending exception class, you can achieve custom exception, and by implementing runnable interface, you can achieve it. So in this, like we have created one my exception class that extends exception class. Okay, and we are creating object of our exception class and calling super passing message means we are calling here exception constructor. This is one way, and another way is implementing runnable interface. And that runnable interface is a run method that we need to override. Okay, and then try block to handle our exception. Okay, so that is our custom exception. So now, like, what is the best practice to handle the exception? First, like, catch a specific exception, whatever method or code can throw an exception. Avoid empty catch blocks and use finally to close the resource. And finally, we'll discuss Java exception interview portions, what interview question can be occur. So first, like what difference between checked and unchecked exception, and what happened if exception is not code? Can we have try block without catch block? And what is the purpose of finally block? And what is the difference between throw and throws keyword? What is the custom exception? How you can create your own custom exception? Can we catch multiple exception in single catch block? And what is the exception chaining in Java? And exception class directly why or why not? and what if there is an exception in the finally block. This type of question can be occurring from exception handling. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Do like, comment, and subscribe, and share also. And stay tuned for the next video in the Java series. Thank you.